This is the Farmington Feed, bringing you information from the city of Farmington.
Hi, and welcome back to the Farmington Feed. I'm Corinne Hodgnicki, the city's communications specialist, and I'm hungry for another episode of the Feed. The price of food is high, and there's a need in this community and surrounding areas for food support. Just over a year ago, the city of Farmington partnered with the Open Door Food Pantry to offer free, fresh, and healthy food to the Farmington community. Let's sit down and chat with Nicole Tyrell, Neighborhood Programs Manager at the Open Door, and Lynn Gorski, City Administrator, to find out how this partnership works. Nicole and Lynn, hello and welcome to the Farmington Feed. This is the first time for both of you, and we are glad you're here today. So, Nicole, let's start with you. What is the Open Door, and what is your role there?
Yeah, thank you. So the Open Door is a food pantry in Dakota County. I am the Neighborhood Programs Manager, and that basically means that every time food goes off-site, I am the one planning and kind of following through with that.
How long has the Open Door been providing free, fresh, and healthy food to the metro area?
So Open Door has been around in some iteration for about 20 years.
Wow.
15 years actually as the Open Door. We started in Mount Calvary's basement in Egan. Lots of different iterations, but we've been around for about 15 years and how it currently looks.
Yeah, and so how is the food secured and or how is it delivered to these pop-ups?
Yeah, so we've got 3 different ways typically that we get food. One of them being individual donation. So if you're cleaning out your cupboard or you're having a food drive at your school or work, that's one way. And then the second way is food rescue. So food rescue is kind of literally rescuing food from grocery stores.
Oh, yeah, because of all the stuff that they're going to throw out, right?
Yep. So if they get new stock or if they get anything in there, if they get too much of something that doesn't sell, we essentially are going in and picking up that produce, picking up that dairy, canned items, all that kind of stuff, and then having our volunteers sort through that food because it is still good.
Right.
But not good enough for them to sell it.
Right.
So we're taking that food that's still good, saving it from the garbage, and then reusing it. And we still do compost a lot of it, but we want to make sure that the food we're getting in is food that our clients would be happy to get from the grocery store versus like...
Not the bad stuff.
Yeah, you're not going to be picking through everything. So we do compost what we don't use. And then the third way is Second Harvest. So Second Harvest is the big food bank for the Midwest, mostly Minnesota, a little Dakota, and a little Wisconsin. But they are basically the food bank. So they work with the General Mills or, like the big organizations, big farms, those kind of things, where they are able to secure a lot more food, a lot more bulk product.
Right.
So a lot of those kind of like basic needs stuff is what we get from Second Harvest.
So I know it's not typical, I guess, but what does a typical box or bag have for people that come to the pantry?
If you're in our actual brick and mortar pantry in Egan, you are getting a full haul from, like, say you would get from a grocery store.
Okay.
So if you've got a family of 5, you're leaving with like 150 pounds of food, everything from frozen meat, fresh dairy.
Okay.
We do have canned items and all that kind of stuff, but it's set up very much like a grocery store. We focus
so they
on...
just go shopping.
Yeah,
there.
Just go shopping. We've got carts. It's kind of a, free-flowing area, so you don't have to, like, go to the produce right first and then go get your milk. So you can kind of shop like you would in a grocery store. We try to keep it as easy and dignified as possible, so you don't even feel like you're shopping in a food pantry.
Okay. Now, for the pop-ups, obviously you are limited. You don't have, like, refrigerator space and freezer space, so what do you do for that?
Yeah, so our pop-ups are kind of an easy way for us to be able to get a lot of food to a lot of people in a short amount of time. So that food comes from Second Harvest. And so it's a lot of your basic items. So we've got rice, beans, pasta, those kind of like random canned items that a lot of families could have, but really trying to focus on the fresh produce.
Right.
So summer, obviously, with harvest season, we have a lot of variety. But we always make sure that even in like the winter, we've got potatoes, onions, carrots, apples, all of those kind of produce items that most people want.
Yeah.
And then we usually have frozen meat and milk for those.
Okay. Lynn, how about you? How did this partnership start and how did it all begin?
Well, thanks for asking, Corinne. How it started was a morning networking group that the mayor and I attended, and we met with Tony Vanicola. And Tony was discussing Open Door with us and what opportunities it could provide to our Farmington residents. So what we did from there is we set up a tour at the Egan facility that Nicole talked about. And we toured with Jason, gave us this tour, and that's exactly right how you mentioned it. You walk in, there's a cart. It's very dignified. They can shop on their own, bag their groceries, and leave. We had a great tour, had great conversations with Jason on how can we bring this to Farmington. And so from there, came down and talked about, looking at our space at Rambling River Center. And I was not aware that Open Door Pantry had already been at the Rambling River Center pre-COVID for a couple times, and then COVID kind of shut it down. So we were bringing back something that was already started a few years ago. But some of the obstacles we talked about was, making sure that we had a nice flowing space and easier on Open Door to provide the services, which previously they were in the dining area and they had to manually carry everything in. So we decided that a better space, we could bring the pantry into the garage area. And
that's what I saw when I went last time. It was really nice.
Yeah. And
really easy to set up too.
I was going to say easy setup, easy flow, and people then are able to quickly access their vehicles.
Yeah.
So they're not carrying stuff for too far.
For sure.
Right. And we're just so thankful for the opportunity. And I this is a prime example of how it's important for Farmington Council and staff to show up and network. And this opportunity came through networking. And
because you were there that day and just happened to hear about it.
Yes. And building the relationships, which is important, and it benefits the residents. And I'm so proud of our relationship we have with the Open Door, and am so thankful for the opportunity that you bring and provide food. Think about that, to our residents. Seems so basic for some people and not for others. And so I personally want to thank Open Door for our relationship, and I am looking forward to it continuing as we look at our new space at Rambling River Center and the remodel. And we wanted to make sure when we were going through those drawings, we invited you in and said, does this work for you? Yeah,
which was a great invite, because that really makes us feel, like we are part of the community. And I have to say that our partnership so far over the course of the last year has been just amazing. Everyone from the city, from the mayor to city employees to teachers and staff, everyone is very involved. And that's a very unique kind of situation for folks outside of Farmington that doesn't feel like the normal. So we as the Open Door appreciate you guys being able to make this as seamless as possible and bring this to the residents of Farmington. Oh, thank you. It's mutual.
Yeah. So let's talk about how this happens, if someone needs food, or when and where, and everything. I know that's changing. So currently we were at the Rambling River Center. Now we're going to
Faith United Methodist Church.
It's not too far down the street, is it?
No, I want to say it's like a minute and a half driving.
Okay.
Like if you get stuck at every stop sign, So yeah, it's not far at all. So we've been in Rambling River Center for about a little over a year. And so we're going to be switching over, and we're going to be temporarily in Faith United Methodist Church, their little community room, from November until April, or whenever construction ends at Rambling River Center.
Right, for sure.
But yeah, having an indoor space, that was really, really helpful during winter. I mean, being in the garage was great because we could just kind of, get all our stuff in there. It was somewhat protected from like wind and snow and all that kind of stuff. So being able to have another space that is inside where people can wait inside, it actually might be a little bit better for a lot of the residents and people that come, because you'll be able to wait inside their like dining area. So that's like a big plus for being in the winter. But yeah, so setup is going to be very similar to how it's been at Rambling River. And for those of you that maybe have never been there, we essentially set up kind of like a pop-up produce pantry-ish thing. Think farmer's market, where we put everything out on tables. So you just kind of go through and you take what you want. We know not every single person is like, I love cabbage. So we're not going to force you to take anything you don't want.
I'd say that about Brussels sprouts.
Right? But some people...
I'll have yours.
I was going to say, there's always, kind of a hit and miss kind of thing. There might be one or two items you don't want or use, but feel free to take everything else. So it's going to be set up in their little community room. We're going to have everything on tables. We'll still have our big refrigerated truck outside that will have fresh meat and milk out on the truck. So the fact that you guys just kind of like even found us a backup location was even better, Yeah,
it's great.
So yeah.
And it's not too far.
No, not too far at all.
And a big thank you to Faith Methodist Church for welcoming Open Door.
Oh yeah.
Now, where will they be going in to get to that space? Do you know that?
So both 7th Street and 8th Street doors will be open.
Okay.
We will be closer to the 7th Street entrance, but because parking is obviously like a little bit different, there's going to be street parking, there's going to be, parking lot parking. So feel free to kind of come in from either side. Just know that if you're on the 8th Street side, you might have to walk a little bit more to your car.
Okay.
But yeah, our truck will be on the 7th Street parking lot kind of area.
Okay.
But we'll be right inside that door.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
And remind listeners when you guys show up each month, because I don't think we talked about that.
Yes. So we are going to be the 3rd Tuesday of every month. So that's going to be staying the same. And we will be there 3 to 4:30.
3 to 4:30. Perfect. Do they need to bring anything? So if somebody needs food, what do they do?
So if someone needs food and wants to come to our pop-up here in Pantry or in Farmington, they can essentially just show up.
Okay.
So
no bags, nothing?
Well, you can come with bags.
Okay.
That is appreciated. If you have a wagon or like a little grocery cart, that's super helpful as well. But if you want to just like pop over and come over, bring nothing. We have some bags. We've got all that kind of stuff. Just bags are kind of, hit and miss. We don't always have those.
Right.
Or a lot of them.
Yep.
And a lot of the stuff that we're handing out a lot of food. So I would say anywhere from 30 to 40 pounds that you're taking home, sometimes even more. So having a wagon or a cart sometimes is a little bit easier to be able to bring everything to your car.
I know the first time I went shopping, this is so embarrassing, but in Portland, we live next to a grocery store. So I just walked over there and I overshopped, not thinking about how much stuff I had to carry home. And it was way too much. Yep. I couldn't carry it back uphill. So yeah, you got to think about how much poundage you're bringing with you.
Yep. So it'll be, right around that 40-pound thing. And depending on who you are, 40 pounds is nothing or it's a lot.
Yep.
So
plan accordingly.
So yeah. But otherwise, we have such great volunteers that if you ever can't carry something, but you need it, just let us know that you need some help. And we are happy to have our volunteers jump out of line and help you to your car kind of thing.
Nicole, you mentioned bringing bags is appreciated. And also I would like to ask the community if they have extra paper bags that they'd be willing to donate.
Oh, yeah.
How could someone donate?
At the Open Door, we serve about, we'll say 15 to 18,000 individuals a month. So we go through a lot of paper bags and even plastic bags. So if you ever have an abundance of paper bags and you want to just bring them over to Faith United or City Hall, you are welcome to do that. They're going to be, and then they'll be able to bring that over to our distribution.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So they can drop them off at City Hall too.
Yeah.
Perfect. You kind of just touched on it, volunteers. This can't be run without volunteers. So how many do you usually use for your pop-ups? And how many overall volunteer hours are you guys needing from the community?
Yeah. We often say that the Open Door does not run without volunteers. We are a less than 20 person staff. And like I said, feeding anywhere from 15 to 18,000 individuals a month, that is a lot.
It's amazing.
So at a typical pop-up, so say at Faith United or when we were at Rambling River, that's anywhere from 8 to 10 volunteers with 2 staff. Any given day is a little bit different. So we usually have at least one offsite distribution going on. We also have our brick and mortar pantry. We also have our food sorting and food rescue and all of those other
all
kind
the
of
behind
jobs.
the scenes stuff. Yeah.
So like today would be probably close to like 90.
Wow.
So on a Monday when we're getting about 25,000 pounds of food of food rescue, we are also then basically food sorting all day on Monday.
Okay.
So we've got, probably about 60, 70 volunteers that are signed up for today. And then, maybe like a Tuesday or something, it might be 50.
Yeah.
So it kind of ranges depending on what we have going on. Sometimes we have 2 or 3 different offsites in a day, plus then our brick and mortar pantry in Egan.
Wow.
So it can range anywhere from, like 40 to 100.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. A lot of help needed.
Yeah, a lot of help.
So how would someone go about volunteering for the Open Door?
Yeah, it's really easy. That's like the one good thing about the Open Door is we try to prevent barriers from pretty much like either people getting food or for people wanting to volunteer their time. So we have a great application system on our website. So if you just go to opendoorpantry.org, click on the volunteer info, and you can do a quick application. Essentially, it's just kind of getting your contact information, getting what you're interested in, knowing what city you live in, those kind of things. And then you're able to either start right away, or you can go to a volunteer orientation where it will kind of overview everything.
Oh, like all the different opportunities.
Yeah, all the different opportunities. So then you're able to really see like, ooh, that sounds fun. Because if I said, hey, you want to sign up to be a pantry stocker? Someone might have a different idea of what that might look like.
Yeah.
So we really go through all of the different things. Whereas offsite, it's a little bit easier to just kind of go through and, be like, offsite pop-up produce. That's kind of, makes sense. So yeah, just going to our website is something that is super easy for folks to do. And one thing that makes us kind of different is the fact that you can sign up for one shift and one shift only. You don't have to commit to like every Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
You can do it really, you could sign up that morning for that afternoon. And that's great.
That's super flexible.
Yeah. So if you've got kind of like a busy schedule, those kind of things, you can always just fill in where you have time.
Yeah, that's awesome. So is there anything else that you guys want to talk about, like a little bit about food insecurity or how we go about getting this partnership together or anything else?
From the standpoint of like food insecurity, I think that, our biggest thing is like making sure that everyone has that opportunity to get food regardless of their circumstances. We never want people to feel burdened by that.
I mean, food is so high priced right now.
Right. There's not many people that aren't affected by food prices right now. And when we're faced with, like raising heat bills or those kind of things, we want to make sure that folks feel comfortable being able to pay their bills and still get food. So if it means paying your bills and coming to the Open Door and getting your food, like that will help. So you don't have to come every single month. You can, but it's kind of like a sliding
this month
scale.
is really tight, right?
Yeah, your brakes went out and you need, $200 and, that month, or you just supplement all your healthy food.
Right.
Since we have the focus on healthy food, and healthy food is usually something that is most expensive.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, because you can go to McDonald's and get something for $1, but it's not super nutritious,
right.
So yeah, just focusing on the healthy part and being able to just really come and have that access whenever you need it.
All right, great. Lynn, anything else?
I just want to thank Nicole again. You do very meaningful work and you are a huge impact to the community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so if anybody stops by the Open Door, they'll probably see Nicole there.
Yes.
Yep.
So I guess that's going to wrap us up for today. thank you both for coming and educating the community on this important resource that's available. And the fact that they're changing locations is a great time to talk about it because we don't want people going to the wrong spot. Rambling River Center is going to be closed from November to April 2025. The temporary location will be at Faith United Methodist, which is located at 710 8th Street. For more information on the Open Door and pop-up pantries or volunteering, you can go to theopendoorpantry.org or check our farmingtonmn.gov calendar for future dates when they'll be in Farmington, usually the third Tuesday of the month from 3 to 4:30. Well, that concludes this month's episode of the Farmington Feed. Thank you for listening. We look forward to connecting with residents with this podcast. If you have any feedback, guest requests, or ideas, email me at communications@farmingtonmn.gov. Don't forget to subscribe to the Farmington Feed wherever you like to get your podcasts.